Hey everybody, Tom Foster here at Fosterwood Marketing, and today is a special day. We have a special interview today with Karen Hoff, none other than our happiness director here at Fosterwood Marketing.
Yes.
So thank you, Karen, for joining us on our show here, The Legal Marketing Edge. And today's show is dedicated to talking about customer service and customer support, which Karen runs for us and takes care of all of our clients and supports all of our clients in so many ways. We're going to talk about a few of them today, right?
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about the role of customer service, customer support. Tell me a little bit about it. What do you do?
Customer service encompasses a lot of things. It's not just answering the phone. It includes answering a lot of questions, and a lot of times it's just little things that a customer might have just forgotten how to do in DSS, or it's something they just never did before and they need some help understanding if they can even do it at all or how to do it. And I love handling those calls. I like teaching the clients about DSS and what it can do, because it can do so much more than most of them realize. So every little bit they learn, they're like, ah,
right.
It's amazing.
That's what it's built for.
Exactly.
And we're always making improvements, and we get a lot of feedback from you talking to the clients about, wow, it would be good if it could do this, and all that gets fed back into the system. Right?
We get our best ideas from our clients,
right.
Especially
Always.
our active clients, the ones who are really in there using it a lot. They come up with the greatest ideas, and they are the ones building DSS for themselves. So that feedback is really important.
That all started years ago with Ben Glass, who was the first guy that started making suggestions to DSS, and that's really was the beginning. There's been great contributors over the years. You know, Larry Buckfire contributes great always over the years.
Charles Boyk.
Yeah, Boyk and
Ashley.
And Dave Fries, of course, and of course probably our biggest contributor to make DSS fantastic always is Michelle Davis.
Absolutely, yes, we get great ideas from her.
So thank you. Thanks everybody for making DSS such a fantastic system. And that's what, we're very proud of that product, and that's really where everything goes into. And that's really what happens a lot when people contact you, I need this done, I need this done. Where do you go to do it?
Absolutely. We get questions about, first of, can I do it in DSS, or do I need to submit a ticket? Which I'm so happy that people are getting in the habit of using the DSS help button or emailing tickets. So,
and that, let's just stop right there, because
yes.
The DSS support button, which is at the top right of DSS, is the fastest way to get help. Right?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Yeah, I mean, even faster than picking up the phone, making a phone. You can certainly call if that's your preference, but that triggers immediately, everybody that needs to be involved in that particular thing that needs to be fixed.
I often have clients who will email me directly, and I'll be in a meeting for an hour, 2 hours, so they don't get an immediate response, whereas if they submit a ticket, more people see it and can jump right on it. And we want to jump right on it. I don't think people realize that. We want to get on it as quickly as possible, especially if it's something important. And we don't want it to be delayed because it was directed to one person rather than the team. And the team is very coordinated, sometimes too coordinated. So you might hear back from 2 of us, but at least we got on it immediately, even if it was more than one.
Well, we try to move at the speed of business.
Exactly.
And, our business is the internet, and the internet is lightning fast, light speed, and we have to move quickly too.
Exactly.
But that's, even if somebody sends you an email or picks up the phone, you're going to submit through DSS on their behalf.
Exactly.
So really, if you just go do that, and then Karen follows up through the ticket process, you'll get emails from tickets and whatnot. And we're constantly making that process better.
Yes, we just made a new improvement where we're consolidating all emails into one email box so that multiple people have access to them. So if I decide to run off to Borneo tomorrow, that someone else will cover the emails for me.
And
by the way, I'm going to be out Monday, going to China. Okay? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Well, we just got you some help, and
yes.
We're always, upgrading and getting new talent to help us here at Fosterwood Marketing in the studio. Okay, so let's talk about some of the top questions that you've gotten, because a lot of you have, bizarre requests, but most of you have very similar requests.
Yes,
right?
yes. We'll get the same several over and over, typically.
So one of them that you get is, how do I upload my video to YouTube, right?
Yes, and it's surprisingly easy. You have to put your credentials into DSS first so that the link between DSS and YouTube are occurring. So you go to Site Setup, and there's actually a place in there to add your YouTube credentials. And what does it say?
It says YouTube,
YouTube
credentials.
Yes. Once you add that there and save it, when you go back to your video library, you'll see for each video there's a little checkbox. Once you go into the edit for the video, down near the bottom, there's a little checkbox that says Upload to YouTube. You just check the box and click Update Video. And it processes automatically. It doesn't happen just like that. It depends on the queue at YouTube. Actually, I think YouTube tends to...
It depends upon the size of the video and
Yes.
how big the file is. And, you know, just like if you upload a file to YouTube, it's not available immediately.
Okay. Has to process.
Right, and so we're processing it to add it to the website, and then we take that file and process it to YouTube standards and send it up to YouTube.
Right. It's pretty quick. I
Yeah.
did 30 yesterday or day before yesterday, and bam, bam, bam,
You got
bam.
what? You did what
I
yesterday?
did 30 of them the other day, and they
So
were
you
all,
did 30 yesterday. What's your excuse? For how many different clients? Or was it one client?
one
you got?
client. I was trying to help him switch to a different account. So,
Oh, I know who that. I know.
Yes.
Hi, David.
hi, David.
Okay, well, good, but we helped him out, right?
Yes,
And
yeah.
okay, that's a great point because we're talking about David Todd, who's been with us since the beginning. He was one of our first clients, and he is a classic do-it-yourselfer who has figured out our entire system and knows who to talk to because he's been
Yes.
here so long. He was with us when it was just Ken and I in the very beginning. I coded his first site.
Oh,
It was good. It was good. Anyway, so it was funny because he shot me a note the other day about his YouTube issues too, and he was working with you, and I said, the internet is fun. Are you having fun being a, internet marketer? And he was like, yes, a lot of times, but not right now. It's not fun. But hopefully he got his stuff squared away.
Yes.
Okay, so and we have tutorials on how to do this, and we got a link right here that you can click on, and it'll take you right to that tutorial on how to add videos and put them up to YouTube. So Karen, another big question that we get from our clients all the time, or issue that they have, frustration, images.
yes.
And images are very important for a variety of reasons. They help you with search engine optimization, and they also help you with conversion.
Yes.
But they can hurt you for both of those if it's not done correctly.
Exactly, exactly. The biggest challenge that our clients run into is using too large of an image typically, or it's too small and they're trying to stretch it into a larger frame. That doesn't work either because it blurs. But the biggest problem usually is a large image they're trying to force into a small area. And the best way to resolve that is to resize it before you upload it. You can resize it very simply using basic tools on your own desktop computer. If you have a designer working for you, you can have them resize it. But it should be more of like a 200 to 300 pixel size maximum. If you're doing a thumbnail, that'd be much smaller, roughly 100 pixels, 150 max.
In width.
In width,
Because the
yes.
content window is about 500, 600 pixels wide. And, we're saying pixels. Those aren't like super technology terms. They're terms that you should become familiar with. Because you're dealing with images, you should know pixel width. You need to be able to communicate that to your designers, especially if you're doing it yourself. Designers are going to understand all that and whatnot. But if you don't have PowerPoint, I'm a Mac user. I use Preview to resize my images. I'll go to Shutterstock, buy an image there, open it up in Preview for Mac, and resize it right there using the tools. I don't need Photoshop or any of that stuff.
I use the Microsoft Image Editor.
Exactly.
It comes on the computer. I don't have to buy special software.
Right.
And it resizes quite easily.
And what that solves is, I'm sure that you've been to websites or you've done it yourself where you've added an image and you go there and look at it and it's as big as a house and it throws everything out of whack, or it's just too big, or it's your eye or whatever.
Right.
And you don't want to go in. A lot of knee-jerk reaction is they'll go into DSS and they'll drag it and make it smaller. Oh, it looks good, but what's the problem with that?
The unfortunate part about doing it that way is that it does not reduce the page load. That huge image is still there. Even if you made it look smaller by dragging it in DSS, it's still there. And that slows down the page load time when there's a very large image on a page. So you don't want that, because for search engine optimization, that's a bad thing. A slow page load is very bad.
It will cause a, not an error, but it's going to cause any kind of report or an SEO audit that you would have would immediately tell you that your images are too big.
Yes.
Because even though they don't look big, from a file size, they are big. And what happens is that your browser, or everybody's browser, actually loads the size of that image and then resizes it on the fly, every one of those. So that's why that's a bad thing. That's why you want to have the exact right size. Well, you can fudge it a little bit, like 10, 20 pixels and stuff like that. That's okay if you need to make it look right once you've uploaded it. But don't like take something that's
2,000 pixels.
Like Jim Folliard here is like Mr. Photo HD. So like everything is like a bit 600,000 pixels wide, the size of New York. And then, you've got to, make it smaller.
Yes.
So you got to consider that stuff.
Yes.
Okay, so our next question for Karen, which is a big one that's coming in, especially nowadays when everybody's concerned about reputation and reputation management and how you're viewed out there, reviews and whatnot. So one of the big things that we recommend to our clients is they've got to set up a review page. And then we talk about it. We did a webinar about it. What happens? Everybody calls Karen. How do I set up a review page? Karen.
Review page is surprisingly easy to do. It looks really fancy when you're done, but when you see what goes into it, it's actually relatively simple. And I actually wrote up the instructions and put them into the DSS forum, hint, hint. Go to the forum because there's a lot of good information in there. Step-by-step instructions. Also, all the different things to consider, such as, do you want this page to be a private page, or do you want it to be out there for everyone to see? Click on the button on your home page, get to it easily. It's up to you how you want to do it. And we can help you with either one. If you get into building the page and you get stuck, please call me. I love going through this stuff with people, so I can definitely help you along. I can walk you through it. But it's quite simple. You put in some content about your review sites and why you're requesting help from your happy customers.
Yeah.
Why do they want to help you? Well, we love getting your feedback. Usually they want to help you out if they're happy.
It really gives you more control. And so instead of sending them to your Google Plus review page, instead of sending them to your Avo page, or instead of sending some weird link off to your Yelp review or Angie's List or whatever, there's multiple things out there.
Oh, yeah.
People have their own review sites that they prefer, their own preferences
Right.
of where they like to review, if they review at all. So one of the best things that you can do to drive very positive traffic to your website is create a review URL, which would be like review fosterwebmarketing.com, review fwm.com.
Or Foster Web Marketing /review. We can play with these and we can redirect them for you.
Yeah.
You just let us know what you want it to be.
Exactly.
And we'll set it up.
And then you can add that into all your marketing literature, your newsletters and whatnot on your website. And it's an easy way to send people into your review funnel where they can choose, I want to go review them on Google+, Avo, whatever.
Right.
So, and it works very well.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about something else. What is the deal with why the video upload won't complete? What's going on with that?
It's a surprisingly simple answer. And most people don't think about all of the technology and variables that go into uploading a video. There's file size, there's file type, internet speed. That's the biggie. If you have kind of inconsistent internet speed like I do at home, and you're trying to upload, and we often run into it at the office too, where Cox decides to nosedive right in the middle of us uploading a video. It's a challenge. There's not a lot you can do about it because you don't control the internet speed. But when you start uploading that video, if it's a large file, it's going to take a little while to process and upload all the way. It needs a significant amount, not significant, a few minutes to upload at the most, depending on how large it is. It needs full bandwidth in order to do that. And I'll often have complaints from clients that it's hung halfway through, and it typically means that your internet shot down temporarily in the middle of the upload. And even if it completed the upload, it could very well be corrupted at that point because it just went.
Well, right. That's a big file, and if it gets interruptions,
Exactly.
That's
So
when
when that happens, I usually just recommend trying again or waiting for an off time. If you wait till certain times of the day when your internet's a little stronger, you can do internet testing using a website such as speedtest.net, and you can check your internet speed, and you can actually look for times in the day when it's a little better. It's not getting as much activity, and you can upload videos during those times if your internet is in a real high speed.
And a lot of people don't know this, Karen, but there's actually two settings. There's a download speed and an upload speed that everyone has. And what most people are always concerned about is download. So generally the download speed is a lot faster than the upload speed that you have with your provider. So I would encourage everybody to check with their internet service provider to see what plan that they're on if they're having video problems. If you're not having video problems, upload, then don't worry about it. But if you're having consistent problems with your upload time, then do that speed tester and talk to your ISP about upgrading your plan. Other things, just speaking of internet issues in general, crazy stuff can interrupt your internet. What we have, we just found out we were having massive problems here.
The microwave.
Microwave. Did you know that a microwave can cause problems? All of a sudden we were having drops on our Wi-Fi channel. We have two Wi-Fis, and they would both drop during lunch.
So everybody during lunch, internet went down again.
Just quick, it would go up and down.
And we realized there was a connection there.
Right, and because the microwave was on the same frequency as the Wi-Fi, which fortunately we have Toby Crandall, who's a genius, who's been with me since the beginning, who's basically Scotty of the enterprise, who handles all the email and IT and keeps all the servers running and also makes sure that we're running here.
He's keeping it together.
Yes, he did. And he figured that out. And the other thing is that just at home, I used to have a fish tank in my house and had intermittent internet problems. And removed the fish tank, no problems. You heard of that one?
No.
Water causes Wi-Fi issues.
Interesting.
It's not your website. It's not us all the time.
Yes.
But call us if you have any issues. We can help you resolve
Absolutely.
them. We're always here for you. Tell me some of common requests that come up where somebody's going to need a coder and they can't do it in DSS.
Although we're always improving DSS, and I know we've got some really awesome
There's
changes
some very
coming.
cool stuff coming
yes,
this
yes.
summer
that's going to actually do away with most of these questions. Right. But one of the things that people ask about is, where can I add a new badge to my recognition module on the sidebar where it says, we're recognized by AVO or different organizations or news organizations. Obviously, you want to link to them and have them link back to you. But you can't do that yourself. We have to do it for you. I believe we're adding that functionality, so that's going to be exciting.
Yeah, well,
But yeah, I don't know when.
By the time somebody sees this, we might have already added it.
Maybe, yes.
Yeah, we're always updating DSS. And the thing is that you can do so much in DSS. And the way that it's anything that's in the middle, you can pretty much change.
Content, images.
Sidebars, stuff on the bottom, whatnot, part of the design. It's a good idea to reach out to Karen and say, can I do this in DSS? It doesn't harm anything, say, or how can I do this in DSS?
Right.
If it's most of the time, or a lot of times, if it's a reasonable request and it's not, like I need to change the complete architecture of my website, then we'll go ahead and do it. Yeah. Unless it's some kind of major change, we might have to, do some more coding for it. Right. Sometimes requests require a global change, and sometimes requests, wow, we didn't even think about that. That's a great idea. Let's make that a global or a big part of DSS, and that's why that might take a little longer. But we are open to any kind of ideas and changes because it is our clients over the years that have made us who we are and better and better and better.
Absolutely.
So don't be afraid to ask. Okay, Now, how can I add something called a practice area to my website? How novel.
I think that people forget how to do this because you're obviously not adding practice areas every day. You
No,
add
and you
live.
shouldn't.
No, don't do that. Do not try this at home.
Right.
You can add content
To your practice
constantly,
areas.
but do not add constant practice areas. So
Right.
they forget how to add a new one, and a new practice area is an exciting thing for an organization to announce. You should get as much excitement out of this as possible. You're entering into a new area at your firm. This is great news. So add a new practice area to DSS is really easy, but you want to make sure all your different components are in place also. I was just talking to a client about this recently. The best way to do it, I believe, is to actually put it all into Word first. Make sure it's all edited and very nicely written. Make sure you have your practice area landing page content built of what you're going to focus on in that practice area, talking about the types of issues, kind of a summary of the types of issues you run into. And you want to link out to different content. So for instance, one practice area, you want to start with at least one library item about that practice area. So if your new practice area is about dog bites, then create a library article, an FAQ, and a news item about dog bites, different types of subjects. So for instance, the news might be a dog bite issue that happened in your neighborhood or your town. Then you want to write about that particular news item, create the content, create the content, create the content.
You got to support the practice area.
Exactly. And put it all out at that first day. Don't just put up a practice area with no content attached to
Right.
it.
That won't do anything.
Exactly.
I mean, it's not that it won't do anything, but it'll just do it so much slower.
Yes. And it doesn't look as good. You know, on our websites, we have practice area buckets, as we call them on most sites. And underneath it is all the links to your content. And if it's empty or only has one item in it, it just doesn't look as good.
And there's a reason for the buckets. It's to help. It's related links about those. You want people to click on those links so they go to interior pages. That helps bounce rate. It's good for SEO as long as there are not too many links. But let's talk about abuse of practice areas, because sometimes clients get a little practice area happy.
Well, there's a function in DSS, and it's not automatically turned on for every client. So one of the things you need to know is it exists. If you want it, let me know. I can turn it on very easily. We have what's called a sub-practice area section. So if it's not turned on, you won't see it. But if it's turned on, all of a sudden you see sub-practice areas. And you can actually literally take a main practice area, such as personal injury, and under it have dog bites,
Auto accidents. Truck accidents.
different things like that, however you want to organize it, so that there's a main practice area bucket, and then when you go to that practice area page, all of those different sub-practice areas are on there. So it organizes it, and it keeps your site looking more neat and contained, not all over the place. And I just think it looks better when someone uses sub-practice areas. If you're practicing a lot of areas of law, you definitely should take advantage of those.
Yeah, you want to categorize them.
Yes.
And, you know, when you're building practice areas need to be looked at like a department of your firm. It's not all the details. Practice areas are not all the little details of the different ways that you practice law, which a lot of guys will do. A lot of lawyers will put too many practice areas.
Right.
And if you have too many practice areas, it
Dilutes.
it dilutes the site, and it doesn't help you. You want to focus on your main ones.
Yes.
A lot of clients will do that. They'll create just too many practice areas and hurt themselves. So, target, focus, sniper shot, not shotgun shooting here, sniper shooting.
Great analogy.
That's what we're trying to do, and that's what we're trying to teach you to do with DSS. DSS will do whatever you want it to do. We don't limit it. So for a reason we don't limit it. We don't want to limit your creativity, but at the same time, please reach out if you're wondering, is this a practice area? We're here to help you.
Yes.
And Karen or anybody, your coach, if you talk to me, if you talk to Chad, Gretchen, anybody at the company can answer these questions for you, so please reach out. SEO local search is all the rage today. Yes. And it pretty much occupies the top third of pretty much every search result if you use local designations in your search requests, or sometimes it even knows where you live and it will automatically show you these local search results. How important is the office information on a client's website today?
It is key. Your location must be consistent across all of your different web presences out there. It must be consistent. If you have multiple offices, that is fine, but they need to be consistent. You can't have, for example, we just recently saw this on a site, they didn't have a suite number. So if you don't have your suite number and you're in a building like we are with multiple people, when someone goes out searching, they're going to see all these other people. Now, if you have multiple lawyers in your office building, they're seeing all these other people, and you might not necessarily be the very first one that comes up. So you want to use your suite number always. You want to use a very specific address and look it up on Google. Make sure it's showing up. Make sure it's you. Make sure it's accurate.
Yeah, you need to have a unique address for every office, and that's really that's an SEO thing, but the point is that you can make these changes in DSS. Yes. And so you make the change in DSS to your website and make sure that it's the same, and that's the point, is that make sure that it's the same on your website that it is on Google Plus, on your Google Plus account, on your Yelp account. All these designations, all these citations that prove that you live and you work where you say that you work, and that's what's so important. So you can actually update that in DSS, and it will help you, but everything else has to be the same outside too.
It's really easy to update it in DSS, and it's another thing that people forget how to do because obviously you're not changing your address every other day. It's not like adding content.
Right.
But it's simple to do. You just literally go over to Site Setup in DSS, look down there, you'll see office locations. I believe it's the very first listing. Office locations, click into the office location that you want to change because you'll see multiple if you have more than one office. Click on the one you want to change, make the change, save. Boom, done. If you have any trouble, call me.
It's easy. Okay, so those are all the questions that we're going to go over today, Karen. We have tons more that we're going to get to. And if you all have any questions for Karen or for us that you'd like us to talk about here on the Legal Marketing Edge, send them in. We'll go over them, we'll answer them. We love to get questions. We love to know how we can provide better service for our clients. It's a tough world out there on the internet, isn't it?
It's always changing.
It's always changing.
It's like a running sprint to keep up all the time.
That's right.
But that's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for.
To help you with.
You practice law, you take care of your patients, and we'll take care of the internet for you.
Yes.
Okay, everybody. Thank you very much, Karen.
Thank you.
Good to see you, as always. Tom Foster, the Legal Marketing Edge, thank you so much. We'll see you next time.